The film opens with a powerful prologue set in Nazi-occupied Poland during World War II. Here, we are introduced to a young Eric Lenscher, later known as Magneto, played by Ian McKellen. This haunting scene establishes the film's central theme of persecution and fear of those who are different. As young Eric is separated from his parents, his emerging mutant powers manifest for the first time, bending a metal gate as he reaches out to them in anguish. Meanwhile, across the ocean in Meridian, Mississippi, we meet a young Marie Dancanto, played by Anna Paquin, whose mutant ability is to absorb the life force and powers of others with a touch. In the scene, she is shown having a dialogue with her high school crush, where they then proceed to kiss. During this moment, her powers began to manifest, absorbing her partner's life force and leaving him unconscious. These opening sequences set the stage for the world of mutants, where individuals with extraordinary abilities live in secrecy and fear, often rejected by society. The film's focus on the origins of two pivotal characters, Magneto and Rogue, highlights the deeply personal and emotional aspects of their mutant identities. The narrative shifts to the present day in the United States Senate, where Senator Robert Kelly attempts to pass a Mutant Registration Act, which would force mutants to publicly reveal their identities and abilities. Magneto begins his plans to level the playing field between mutants and humans. Here we are introduced to Charles Xavier, played by Patrick Stewart, who is also a mutant with mind-reading powers. He confronts Magneto about his evil plan, telling him that he will not allow such plan to go through. Meanwhile, Marie, now going by Rogue, runs away from her home in Meridian, Mississippi, and ends up in Laughlin City in Canada. She enters an arena where she then sees Logan Wolverine, a mutant with superhuman strength, tracking abilities, and special healing powers. The scene then shifts to Wolverine in the middle of a fight, where he is seen struggling. He then gets the upper hand and ends up knocking his opponent. Later that night, Logan is seen at a bar having a drink, where he is then confronted by a thug. In the middle of the confrontation, Logan manifests his mutant powers. Marie, seeing this from afar, gets amazed and decides to follow Logan, where later on they get introduced. Suddenly, both of them are attacked by Sabretooth, a mutant and associate of Magneto's. Cyclops and Storm arrive to save Wolverine and Rogue and bring them to the X-Mansion. After being unconscious, Logan wakes up in a room where he is being hospitalized. He tries to escape but ends up in Professor Xavier's office. Here, he is introduced to the other mutants, including Cyclops, who emits powerful optic blasts from his eyes, but must wear a special visor to control them. Storm, a mutant who is able to control storms and thunder, and Jean Grey, a telekinetic and telepathic mutant. Professor Xavier explains to Logan that he runs the facility and his goal is to help mutants who are trying to seek peace with the human race, educate young mutants of their powers, and stop Magneto from starting a war with humanity. The scene shifts to the Senator Kelly, who is abducted by Mystique and Toad. The Senator is brought to Magneto on Genosha, who tests a conversion machine on him that artificially induces mutation. He is then imprisoned, but he manages to escape due to his new powers. Back in the X-Mansion, an accident caused Rogue, Marie, to use her powers on Wolverine. She is convinced by Mystique, disguised as Bobby Drake, that Xavier is angry with her and that she should leave the school. After Xavier found out that Rogue escaped, he uses Cerebro to locate Rogue at a train station. He sends the X-Men in a rescue mission. Logan Wolverine takes the lead and heads to the train station. He finds Rogue by herself in the train. She explains to him that she didn't meant to harm him, and the reason why she escaped was because they told her that the professor was furious at her. Logan accepts the apology and tells her that it's not her fault for being born as a mutant. The X-Men arrive to the train station in search for Rogue, but they are ambushed by Magneto's associates. A fearsome battle begins between them, causing a lot of destruction. Back in the train, we see Wolverine and Rogue having a conversation, but then they get interrupted by Magneto. Wolverine tries to attack him, but he gets paralyzed. He asks Magneto what does he want from him. Magneto replies that he is not there for him. He is there to capture Rogue, because she possesses the power to activate his mutant evolution device. Magneto defeats Wolverine, leaving him unconscious and capturing Rogue. With Rogue captured, Magneto escapes. Back in the X-Mansion, Professor Xavier creates a plan to save Rogue, but it's cut short due to Wolverine's impatient temper. He tells the professor that sitting around won't solve nothing, and that he is going to save Rogue by himself. On his way out, he encounters Senator Kelly, who is in horrible condition. He is taken in to get interrogated. Xavier uses his powers to look into his memories to find out what happened. He discovered that he was captured by Magneto and was used as a lab rat for experiment. He also finds out about Magneto's evil, that is to use a machine known as the Mutant Evolutionary Accelerator, which he intends to use on Ellis Island during a world summit on the Mutant Registration Act. This machine will turn ordinary humans into mutants, thereby making the act obsolete and forcing humanity to accept mutants as the dominant species. After finding out the truth about Magneto's evil plan, Xavier and the X-Men reunite to find a way to stop Magneto. They get to the conclusion that the only way to stop the plan is by rescuing Rogue. As they get ready to execute the plan, they are interrupted by Storm. She tells them that the senator has disappeared. After hearing the news, they rapidly execute the rescue plan. The final act of the movie culminates in a thrilling showdown at the Statue of Liberty. Magneto's plan is set into motion, and it's up to the X-Men to stop him. Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey infiltrate the Statue of Liberty, while Xavier stays behind to operate Cerebro remotely. A climactic battle ensues within and around the statue. Wolverine faces off against Sabretooth, Cyclops battles Toad, and Jean Grey confronts Mystique. These confrontations showcase the diversity of mutant powers and provide thrilling action sequences. As the X-Men thwart Magneto's plan to use Cerebro, a struggle between Xavier and Magneto emerges on a psychic level. Magneto attempts to use his helmet, which blocks telepathic influence, to turn humanity into mutants by amplifying Cerebro's power. Xavier pleads with Magneto to stop, but his old friend's ideology is unwavering in a moment of self-sacrifice. Rogue uses her powers to absorb the life force of Magneto, preventing him from completing his plan but putting her own life in grave danger. It's a poignant moment that illustrates the sacrifices the X-Men are willing to make for the greater good. The film's climax brings Magneto's downfall, but it also leaves room for his return in future installments. He's imprisoned in a plastic cell designed to hold him without his magnetic powers. With Magneto defeated and the mutant threat neutralized, the world is left to grapple with the implications of the mutant phenomenon. Senator Kelly Bruce Davison, who once advocated for mutant registration, undergoes a transformation into a mutant himself, leading him to reevaluate his stance. Rogue recovers from her near-death experience, and Logan decides to continue searching for clues about his past. Meanwhile, the X-Men, now a cohesive team, stand ready to face new challenges. The film closes with Xavier's hopeful words, emphasizing the importance of tolerance and coexistence. The X-Men have prevailed in their first cinematic outing, but their journey has only just begun. I would like to know your thoughts about this movie in the comments below. And if you enjoy these type of videos and would like more content like this, leave a like and subscribe.